Welcome back everyone, and if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. Well, here we are. It's another beautiful day in Arizona out on the farm, and I get this warm greeting from the cows. It's been 2 weeks since I've been out, and they are very anxious to greet me. As I walk up, I see these guys about 40 yards out. Yeah, I zoom in for you to see a little bit better, and I set up here on top of this electrical box, and I take aim, and I aim for the black one. However, I forgot to activate the cameras. Sorry about that, guys, but this one is done. Shortly after that first shot, I walk a short distance and I spot these guys on top of a pile of dirt, or should I say fertilizer, 40 yards out. I zoom in and I take this one, and it's done. Here is that shot in the scope cam. As you can see, I see this guy here and it looks really good. But I scan to see if there's any targets that look even better than that one. But I decide on this one, relaxing, good easy target, and I take it, and it is done. I change locations so I can get a better look at this guy to ensure that it is done, because I can't really see it behind the dirt. And there he is, done. As I'm walking, these guys come running out of nowhere. This one male is really trying to mate with this female, and he chases her beyond the cows where I can't see him. But then they come right back out, and I target this guy. I know this guy with a pretty good shot on the move. However, the shot was not an instant kill shot, so I watched this guy in order to see if he needs a follow-up shot. Here is that shot in the scope cam. I pick up the action as they return into my sights, and I target this guy and I take him on the move. So it wasn't the best of shots, but it was good enough to bring him down. This guy is bleeding pretty bad and he's hurt, but anyhow, I still put a follow-up shot in this guy to minimize his suffering. This shot occurred at 26 yards. Here is that follow-up shot. And here is that same follow-up shot in the scope cam. Done. This guy was spotted at 38 yards on the rooftop. I nailed this guy. Flips around a bit, but he's done. I speed up the scene as I change locations to try and get a beat on this guy. And there he is. Done. Here we are in the scope cam. Again, I speed up the scene, and I look through my scope and you can see its head there, and then it drops. Done. Again, same rooftop, 40 yards this time. Again, it's another good shot. Initially, I thought I'd missed this guy, but here, I speed up the scene and I change locations, and there he is, on the edge of the roof. Done. And here is that shot in the scope cam. Change of locations, and there he is. Done. Same roof, about 41 yards, and this time I get a 2-for-1. You see them both go down. Good shot. Let's take a look at that shot in the scope cam. Here, you see the two pigeons, one behind the other. I sight in, I take my time, and I nail them both. And they both go down, pretty much in the same spot. And they are both done. Once again, same rooftop. You see the other guy down to the left on the edge. But this time, this guy is about 45 yards out. I nail this guy. He takes flight, but goes down in a distance. Right here on the walkway. There he is. Down and done. Here is that shot in the scope cam. I take the road to go retrieve this guy, and here he is, done. And here we are again, on that same rooftop. This guy is about 45 yards as well. I nail him, and you see him take flight, but listen close. He falls out of the sky, and he nails the rooftop. Here's that shot in the scope cam. Once again, listen as this guy crashes into the rooftop. He's done. I spot this guy at about 30 yards in the rafters where the feed is stored, and I take him. And here is that shot in the scope cam. I take a short walk to retrieve this guy, and here he is, down and done. Shortly after that shot, I spot this guy at 25 yards, and he too meets the same fate. Here is that shot in the scope cam. Again, I walk over to retrieve this guy, and here he is, down and done. Now this shot didn't quite work out the way I wanted it to. It's about 40 yards, and the pellet drops short of its target, ricocheting off the dirt, striking a pigeon behind him. And you see this guy flying off in the distance and goes down right there at the edge of the shade. I'll take it. Here is that shot in the scope cam. Watch as the pellet goes just beneath this guy and strikes the pigeon behind him. Wrong place, wrong time. I take another walk, and here is this guy, down and done. this is the last shot of the day. 35 yards. I wait for this guy to clear away from where the cows are feeding. I didn't want a cow to stick his head out and I shoot it, but I nail this guy and he takes flight. But he goes down. I speed up the scene here, and there he is, laying there in the pen in the center of the screen. Here is that shot in the scope cam. I'd wait for this guy to step out and away from the cows. I didn't want a ricochet or a cow to stick his head out at the last minute when I pulled the trigger. So I wait for him to step away, and he does just that, and I nail him. Takes flight, I speed up the scene, and I spot him there, laying in the pen, wounded. So I put a second shot in this guy, and here is that follow-up shot. Nailed him, and he's done. As I look at this guy through my scope, he is slowly dying, but not fast enough. So there's my follow-up shot, and I put him down. He is done. Thanks for watching, and please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe.